Hi, I'm Paul from Kreitler Rollers, and this video is to demonstrate the assembly of Kreitler Rollers and accessories. I have all the parts laid out, so we're ready to get started. Okay, we're going to start by putting the flywheel belt around the rear drum. And then we're going to insert the axle of the rear drum through the frame tab on the right frame. We'll put on a washer and thread on the acorn nut just a few turns. We don't want to tighten that just yet. We want it to be a little bit loose. We'll do the same thing on the left side. Put the axle through the frame, put on the washer, and turn the nut a few turns. Okay, moving on to the middle drum. This is our main belt that runs between the middle and the front drums. So we're going to put that around the middle drum and insert the axle through the frame, put on our washer, and a couple turns on the acorn nut. Same thing on the left side. Put on the washer, acorn nut. Okay, moving towards the front, I'm going to put on both belts, both the main belt and the fan belt. And we'll set the front drum in place just like the other drums. Put on the washer and the acorn nut. As you can see, I've pulled the pins out of the sliders and I've slid the whole front assembly back towards the middle to leave a little bit of slack on the belt. Okay, on the fan side, we're going to put the axle through the frame tab. We're not going to use a washer because we're using the frame for the fan, which is going to take up the space. So we're going to install that onto the axle, set that down, and thread the nut on. So just quickly here now, we're going to tighten down all the hardware by hand. That'll help straighten everything out. Okay, now we're going to install the flywheel. The flywheel can be installed on the left or the right side. There's a specific flywheel for each side. This is a left flywheel. So we're going to slide the flywheel frame onto the roller frame and tighten down this knob. Hold that in place. And let's go ahead and install the flywheel belt. So I'm going to drop the belt down here by the axle to put some slack on it. Drop that into the groove on the flywheel, and then put the belt into the groove of the drum and work it around until it pops into place. Okay. And we can go ahead and install the main belt. Actually, we're going to tighten that up a little bit later. Let's go ahead and finish the frame and the fan. So here's the Killer Cool headwind fan. There's the opening for the air resistance. And here's our hardware. So I'm going to put the frame and the fan together and just thread these in by hand. Okay, so far we haven't used any tools, but now it's time to tighten everything up using wrenches. So the tools that are required for the Kreitler roller set are a 5/8 inch wrench and a 9/16 inch wrench. Now you can also use a socket set or an adjustable crescent wrench. So we're going to use the 9/16 to tighten up the hardware on the fan setup and just snug these down. Okay, and then we're going to use the 5/8 wrench to tighten up everything else. So sometimes you have to hold the hardware on the other side of the axle just to get things started. And going to go ahead and tighten these down, and these just have to be snug. You don't have to over tighten them. Okay, now in order to ride the rollers, we need to set the wheelbase adjustment, and we're going to do that. First, slide this forward a little bit, and I recommend just dropping the belt down by the axles just to add a little bit more slack. And I'm going to go ahead and check the wheelbase adjustment. Okay, so got my bicycle here, and what we're looking for is we're looking to set the position of the front drum to be directly below the axle of the front wheel or just slightly forward. And I've already measured this ahead of time, so I know this is the correct setting, and you can see that it's very well aligned. So I'm going to go ahead and take the bike off, and we'll finish the setup. Okay, now there are a couple ways to get the belt installed on the drums. You can usually start on one side, getting it in position, and then snap it around like that. If you have a bike with a very long wheelbase, you may find that you have to fold the frame like that to get enough slack on that belt to get it installed. But this is already set up and ready to go. We'll install the belt for the fan. So drop that into the groove on the front drum, and then snap this into place on the fan. And you can see there's two channels for the belt. The smaller groove is for the 4.5-inch drums, and the larger groove is for the 3-inch or the 2.25-inch drums. So this is set up and ready to ride. Okay, everything is assembled and the accessories are installed. We're ready to give it a try. So we'll put the bike on the rollers, get in position, and start pedaling.